Hi, everyone. Harry here with a quick update on what's happening in the Mahmoud Khalil case. This is one that everyone's watching fairly closely. First, he's the initial person detained by the Trump administration and attempted to deport, both because of his activity in demonstrations on campus at Columbia during the last year. He was clearly a leader of demonstrations in support of Gaza and Palestinians. He says he was no more than that. The administration suggests that he actually engaged in more forward anti-Semitic activity, but it doesn't matter because the attempt to deport him on that basis has failed. So at least at the district court level. So last week, New Jersey District Court Judge Michael Farbiar said this authority you're trying to assert to deport him doesn't fly. Now, the authority is a very strange and kind of disquieting provision. It's part of the law, but it says that the Secretary of State personally, if the Secretary of State personally makes a finding that someone who's here legally, and Khalil has a green card, an American wife, a child born while he's been detained, and is here legally, but Marco Rubio makes a finding that says his continued presence here legally is a risk to the national security. Nothing more than that. Basically, completely cryptic, but that's what the statute appears to permit. So what the judge said was twofold. First, it's a violation of the First Amendment. This is being done in reprisal for protected First Amendment activity in his participation in the demonstrations at Columbia. And second, he struck down this provision that says Marco Rubio can just say it ipsa dixit, and that's good enough to deport people. On the one hand, it's a remarkable provision that seems to strain, the very idea of process and democracy. But on the other, Congress had in mind some kind of situation where the Secretary of State knows but doesn't want to tell and can just simply invoke it. So I think the battle over the constitutionality of that provision that Marco Rubio invoked is not finished, even though in the district court and for the Khalil case, it has been held unconstitutional. So on that basis, the New Jersey judge, you might have thought, certainly Khalil and his attorneys were hopeful that he would be released. He is actually not in New Jersey. They filed a case in New Jersey, and the judge there has asserted jurisdiction and kept it, even though he has now been detained in this center for possibly deported migrants in Louisiana. But the case was brought in New Jersey, and the judge has continued to assert jurisdiction over it. Anyway, the thought might have been, okay, the U.S. gave it a try under this unusual provision, which, by the way, Marco Rubio says he intends to use more and more. I think we are far from done with the legal showdown about whether that basis is viable. But the administration had always been making noises about an alternative basis to deport Khalil, and that is supposed immigration fraud. The idea is when he came to the country and made his application, his successful application for his green card, he omitted certain what the lawyers, the government says, material facts, and that's specifically that he had this internship with the United Nations group in the Middle East that is there to basically support and work with Palestinians there, UNRWA. He had and let me just say as a further aside, that's an organization that people in the Middle East say has been captured by Hamas. And apparently some members were found to be actually helping Hamas in the aftermath of October 7th and the like. So it's the kind of thing, without commenting on those charges, it's the kind of thing that, it makes sense that somebody has to put down. And he did it in a few other things, or at least that's what the United States says. Khalil says, I did put it down, maybe not precisely, but really it's all there. So it's going to be important, what exactly does his immigration application say? Does it list the experience that the United States said that he omitted? But his bigger claim, and this is one that the judge in New Jersey has given preliminary support to, is this a pretext? People in general are not deported for immigration fraud. I guess there are some consequences if they find it, when they find it. It's reputedly a fairly widespread thing to happen. But the claim is going to be no, this is not fraud. I did actually reveal, but the bigger point is going to be you don't normally do this and you're doing it now. It's only a pretext. So the judge actually ruled that it was overwhelmingly likely. That's the judge's finding, that the supposed green card application violation was not the reason he was being held. So now they're going to press it, and they can press it in front of an immigration judge and say, kick him out. And he's going to say, no, what I said was accurate, but more importantly, this is a pretext. Now, let me just say, immigration is a world unto itself. We are in a world unto itself just because of the high profile of Khalil and everything that's going on in the country. But as a general matter, I'm here to tell you, as a former government lawyer, the argument, you haven't done it to those other guys, so you can't do it to me, usually has very poor prospects for success. Usually the answer given is, that's just tough luck. You have no right to have the law enforced against other people. And, you can't use that as a defense against, it applying to you yourself. Now, this might be a different kind of argument, because it might be, this is a First Amendment violation. They're actually doing it for reasons of my First Amendment protected activity. And that's the kind of claim that has a little more oomph and muscle. So we'll see if he's able to use it. And the number one thing to see first, and we ought to know this within a few days, what exactly did he say on the immigration form? Is it a little dodgy or arguable, or is it just, clear omissions of information that he was supposed to put down? And that, I think, that sort of factual issue may well drive what happens to him going forward. So his prospects for, even though he's won a strong victory on the main reason they were trying to go after him, he still is very much at risk for being deported, for all that means for him and his family. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.